Hello, Katie here of katiefizzy.com, human design specialist, unicorn lover, homemaker, all that kind of stuff. And I wanted to talk to the generators in the world who might be subscribed to my channel or come across this video. I have been considering for quite some time what good advice I could give, good practical advice I could give to generators with working with their strategy. Your strategy as a generator is very simple, and I think in some ways that makes it more difficult for you. In the same way it can be difficult for a manifestor because their strategy is often very simple and straightforward, and it's just kind of the same thing. For a projector, while a lot of time projectors seem to be like, oh, they got the bad design, or the hard design, once you start to get a handle on it as a projector, there's really not much on you. You can just kind of go through life and trust that you're going to be recognized, and you do in fact get recognized, and then it's just learning to work with your authority. As a generator, it's a bit more proactive and less proactive than what it is for a manifestor. So you're kind of like, I don't know, it makes me think of like the middle child or something. And so when you're in Webster, stop it. I got a new dog since the last video I did, which was a long time ago, so I got Webster in October. At any rate, you're kind of like the middle child in some ways, or at least that's kind of the energy that it brings to mind. And so I've been considering for a while, what can I give you to help you get connected with your strategy? So if you're new to human design and all you know is that you're a generator, you can look at your chart and we'll tell you what your authority is. And there are two types of generator. Well, okay, I guess we could break this down even more. But whether you're a manifesting generator or a just generator, plain generator, there'll be two basic types of response for you. One's going to be a sacral, and the other is going to be a sacral along the emotional wave. So if you look at your chart, your authority will either say sacral or it will say emotional. And those are the two variants when we're looking at authority among generators and manifesting generators. So I'm going to start with addressing the generators that are sacral authority, and then I will modify this exercise for you if you have an emotional authority. All right, generators with the sacral authority. Your authority and your strategy is one and the same. So that means it's saying uh-huh or uh-uh out loud. Now there are some configurations, and I'll tell you right now how you can figure this out for yourself, where you might not say because of the way your energy is designed. And the way you can figure that out is if you look at your sacral, the red square at the bottom of your chart, there are lines coming out from it, little numbers. And if there's a line that goes all the way to your throat from your sacral center, I think there's only one way for that to happen directly, which is the 34 connecting into the 5720 and going up to the throat. But there could be other ways. There are a million different things in human design, right? So check that. If you do have your sacral going straight up to your throat, then your sacral response may be more like, yep, no, yes, no. It's not going to be as guttural with the but for every other generator, is how you make decisions in life. And so that sounds really abstract. And so that's why I wanted to give you a practical exercise to work with. And I would work with it for at least 21 days. It takes us 21 days to develop a habit on average. So I would start with 21 days of doing this exercise to start to get you in the habit of working with your sacral. So I used to tell people to use the sacral on low cost decisions, like which ice cream to eat. as you're starting to wean yourself off of making decisions from your mind. Making decisions from your mind might look like a pro and con list, or it might be making decisions from your mind from other areas in your chart where you've been conditioned. So let's say you don't have your will, also known as the heart center, defined. You might not really understand the value that you bring, and then your mind will try to compensate for that and then make decisions. So that's the way most people are making decisions if they're a generator, or actually most people if they're not doing their human design. So I used to tell people, start with the low cost decisions in your life because it's easier to let go of what your mind might be telling you. Now I'm going to suggest a perhaps better way to do this, which just occurred to me this morning when I was having my morning coffee and kind of just doing my morning time thing, is to do coloring or to make art. And the reason I'm saying to do this for 21 days is because, and specifically visual art, is because you need something to practice with that will give you the creative experience. Because whether you're a manifestor, a generator, a projector, or a reflector, or any other kind of, well, those are the only types. I don't want to confuse anyone who's new to human design. No matter what your configuration is in your chart, there is risk involved in creativity. So many people don't create, and it has nothing to do with whether they're following their strategy or not. There is fear there. There is fear of failure. There's fear of a million different things. Though I guess technically not following your strategy is how that fear gets developed in you, but that creative risk is there for all of us. And it's much more that risk of using your sacral or using whatever your strategy is much higher, feels much higher because you're no longer using your mind, which your mind is trying to make you feel safe. And so making art is going to accomplish a few things. It's going to put you in that creative space that you're in when you're building your business, building your career, building your life, building your family. Whatever you're doing, it is creative if you're working on having a new reality in your life. That is creative work. So art is creative. The other aspect of art, and you don't need to be an artist to do this is about the experience and practicing getting a feel for your sacral and what it sounds like, is that there's lots of things for your sacral to respond to. When we're talking about the generator strategy, the generator has to respond to things. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but if you're living in alignment with your design according to the way human design is taught through raw, if you are living your life as a generator and trying to use your sacral in that way, you must respond. That sacral must respond to external stimulus. It can't respond to a thought in your head or an intuition or a feeling. It's responding to something external. So when you're doing art, I'll grab my little stuff right here. You know, I've got, these are just around me because I like using different colors on things. So there are all these things right here, even if you're just doing art with markers, that your sacral, you can look at the colors and say, or You can get a plain notebook with no lines on it, plain paper. You can get a coloring book, and I'm saying I would get all of these. A coloring book, you could get some construction paper, and each morning, and this is going to be for the for the sacral authority generators. Each morning, or whenever you decide to put this in your daily routine, look at the supplies in front of you and start from there with and to guide your creation. You can use scissors, you can cut out shapes. Just let yourself see where the pencil goes. I want a straight line. I want a curved line. I want a triangle. Or I'm coloring in that one. I don't want that color. And work with that. And the other thing that I want to make clear is that you want to be saying these sounds out loud. So if that feels weird to you, just be sure that you're in a space where you feel like no one is listening to you grunting. Problem solved. Because doing it out loud helps turn on that sacral response. And do that for 21 days and see how it goes. Now, if you have emotional authority, here's what you need to understand about emotional authority. Emotional authority is you get information over time versus all the information in this moment. So if you're a generator with a sacral authority, you are very profoundly meant to be in the now, grunting your way through life, right? If you're an emotionally defined generator, you're getting information over the time span of your emotional wave. And where you are in your emotional wave, up, down, wherever you are, whatever descriptors you want to give to that, that's going to give you a new piece of information, a new sacral response. And at the end of that, there's what is referred to in human design as emotional clarity. That's either, yes, this is good for me, no, this isn't good for me. And your wave could be any number of days. It really depends on your specific circuitry. So I'm saying as an average, and pay attention to yourself, start a piece of artwork that you say to on day one, and stick with that piece of art for 4 or 5 days, and then start again. And in that 4 or 5 day period, or if you find that you have a shorter emotional wave there, you can adjust it as it makes sense for you. But pay attention to how you feel at different periods of the art creation. Pay attention to the new clarity that's coming in depending on where you are. Pay attention to that creative process. And for contrast, you might even, every other piece of artwork, try to finish something in one day, where you are on that one spot of your emotional wave versus giving yourself the time period to come to clarity and closure through your sacral response. I think that will help you really start to gain awareness around how you're processing the energy in the world around you, so that you can lean into and trust that authority a little bit more and get a little bit more clear on how that emotionality works for you. So that is my suggestion, challenge, invitation, project, whatever, to generators to try to get in contact with that sacral response, because so much of what is going to work for you is just going to unfold for you, and it's going to unfold through that sacral response. It's just like anyone else's strategy. Like, we really don't know. I often say that our strategy is our line to God, that we get our instruction that way. And if you are a person of faith, as I am, you might be of different faith, but if you are a Christian faith, like all throughout the Bible, we know that we are not given plans. We are given inspiration, we are given messages, we are given ideas, we are given opportunities, we are given information when we need it to make the next step. And for you as a generator, that information comes in the form of the sacral. But no one knows the mind of God or the creation of God that's unfolding through us. We, all of us, only get to know that in retrospect. And even then, we don't know the fullness of our creation that we have created and has been created through us from God. We just don't know. So regardless of your type, I find faith to be really helpful, just really helpful if you're doing this experiment, to have faith that there's something greater than your comprehension or understanding that's working through you, and that through human design, you've been given insight as to what your language is with that something happening through you. and how you can really align with that and see what unfolds and what you will call your life. So I hope that's helpful, and I'll make more videos when it comes to me. Love you. Bye.